Good afternoon, Howard Wigg, Code Green, ThinkTech Hawaii. Oh, do I have a show lined up for us today. If you thought you knew solar before, you didn't know nothing, and you'll be sophisticated in 45 minutes. Gives me great pleasure to bring to the table Blum and Westley Bagsby.
That's correct.
Of High Power Solar, and we will soon be joined, probably during the break, by Cruz Romero, the president of High Power Solar. Now, High Power Solar is different from all the other solar companies in the state, as you are well aware. We are the solar capital, solar water heating and photovoltaic capital of the nation on a per capita basis. Our tiny little state has water heating and PVs just coming out of our ears. So I believe I'm trying to think of the Jewish holiday Passover. I think it's Passover, where the family gathers around the kitchen table and the smallest child asks, "Why is this night different from all other nights?" And then the other children are supposed to talk about the Exodus from Egypt. So I ask you people, why is High Power Solar different from all other solar companies? Either one of you.
Excellent, yeah, no problem. You know, we get this same question all the time. And you get a lot of time to kind of ponder on that. You know, what distinguishes us from our competitors and what's going to set us apart. You know, people are looking for that finite answer. But, you know, definitely what distinguishes us, in our opinion, is that we consider ourselves advisors to the people. You know, we're huge fans of what Hawaii's initiative is, to have this island, you know, completely renewable by 2045. And it's a big passion for us, and one that we actually live by. And so when we go out and talk to customers, or whatever people decide to call them, you know, we decide to call them friends for the most part, because we develop a relationship with them. And that's one of the things that we put to the forefront, is that we truly care about their interests. We feel like we need to know our craft enough to where we can throw them that information and make them feel comfortable about the education that they're getting from us. Because again, we feel like, you know, we're advisors to them. So whether it be any information about, you know, photovoltaic, solar panels, whether it be solar hot water heater, the benefits of solar AC, anything under the sun, you know, no pun intended. We like to be able to say that we're actually helping these people to reach that goal, reach our goal.
Let me back that up by saying that we had lunch just the other day, and I got back to the office, the phone rang, and lo and behold, it was my cousin, Cynthia. And she said, "Howard, we've been scouring the state for a PV photovoltaic installer. And we talked to this company, that company, that company, that company. And what else?" And I said, "Well, I just got through having lunch with High Power Solar. Why don't you give them a call?" I just happened to have their card in my hand. So you've not only visited my cousin's home, surveyed the estate, but your President Cruz was there, and Cindy knows everything about President Cruz's family now. And it turns out that her husband and Cruz are fellow musicians. They talk music and so forth. So you really do, and you're more like family in more ways than one. And also, I like your reference to 2045. I am with the State Energy Office. It is our governor who has declared that all electrical energy in the state of Hawaii shall come from clean sources by 2045, which is only, what's that,
19 years?
19 years away.
Yeah.
It is right around the corner.
Yeah, you guys will just be entering your middle age.
You're too kind.
So, what we preach in the Energy Office, and what I learned over lunch, was you have exactly the same message. The most effective way of attaining 100% clean energy is through energy efficiency, in this case, energy efficiency in the home. Would either one of you care to give a little dissertation on achieving, first and foremost, energy efficiency in the home?
Sure, I can do that. So the first thing that we like to do is look at how people are using energy. So, and you always want to start with the simplest, lowest tech. So that might be changing out to LED light bulbs, adding solar hot water, which is something that's been around for, as you know, many, many years. It's very effective. It's a very mature technology. So then, once we've sort of looked at the energy efficiency, the solar hot water, and then if somebody's interested in solar air conditioning, we can look at that as well. And then we go to the PV. So that's sort of the last step. And then beyond the PV, we'll look at batteries as well. So, you really want to sort of look at it as a spectrum. From the simplest, the lowest tech, maybe there's insulation, maybe there's painting the roof with the reflective coating. Very simple things like that can make a big difference so that you're not, and as an industry, as a PV industry, we've liked to install lots of PV. That's what we do. But I think there are some simpler, lower tech solutions that are very effective. And really, I think we should start looking at those first.
Now, what if you are in a client's home and you're in the kitchen and you look at the fridge and you ask, how old is that fridge?
Right.
And they'll scratch their chin. I think it's more than 20 years old. What do you do then?
Then that would be something where we'd say you might want to look at a higher efficiency refrigerator, and you can look at all the appliances, not just lighting. That's a great point, and that is something that obviously we should always be doing anytime we walk into a potential PV or solar hot water customer's home.
Okay, here's a little quiz. This is not your field. I'm gonna...
I didn't know. You didn't say there's going to be a test here.
An older refrigerator,
Yeah.
20-something years old, it started out not very efficient. And then the motor in back started gathering all this dust.
That's right, yeah.
Which inhibits heat transfer.
Right.
And the gasket around the door.
Right.
Pretty old, pretty cracked. So your typical 20-plus-year-old refrigerator generally consumes over 1,000 kWh per year.
Wow.
If the family swapped it out for a larger Energy Star refrigerator with all the brand new bells and whistles in it, how many kWh would that Energy Star refrigerator consume?
You got me on that one. Wes?
Well, definitely. So when I have questions like this, by the way, I go to www.hawaiienergy.
There you go.
And this is honest. And we actually direct our customers religiously, if you will, to that website, because sometimes we don't have all the answers, but we know that there are experts in the field like yourself, the analysts who are actually looking at these stats. And it does provide our customers peace of mind that there's a place that they can go to get that information, because sometimes we don't know off the bat, but we know that the information is there. And also for customers who are interested, there's information about potential rebates that they could get because these products are, actually being, in their Energy Star. And talking about that, if you're buying LED lighting or fluorescent lighting, there's information on the website about that. So, good question, Howard, and I hope that was partially a somewhat good answer.
I'll fill in the answer then.
Yeah, what is the actual savings?
A really beat up old refrigerator can consume, say, up to 1,400 kWh a year.
Wow.
Brand new Energy Star, larger bells and whistles, 350 kWh a year. A savings of over 1,000 kWh a year.
That's amazing.
That is amazing.
And then from my energy office standpoint, also, we're later going to talk about demand for electricity, where our peak demand starts going up right about 5 p.m., goes to around 9:30, and PVs don't handle that so well because the sun goes down right about 5. That refrigerator is being used most extensively during those peak times.
During dinner,
Guess what? It's helping to shave the peak. So that's very near and dear to my heart.
Sure.
So if you walked into the laundry room, what would you... Oh, and you saw a very beat-up old washing machine. What would you say?
Sure, we'd suggest, with the new front-loading, high-efficiency units, absolutely. Yeah,
and
definitely.
again, rebates from Hawaii Energy and less water.
That's right, absolutely.
So you guys are terrific energy efficiency guys.
Well, we appreciate it. Thank you for the quiz.
Yeah.
So, and I'm very glad you mentioned another three words dear to my heart: solar water heating.
Yes.
It's old technology. It's a proven technology.
That's right.
Oh, here's another quiz for you. How many approximately solar water heaters are there in our teeny little state?
Ooh.
That's a good question. That is.
Something around 100,000.
No kidding.
Yes.
It's amazing. And there's still room for a lot
There's
more,
still
too.
room for a lot more.
And honestly, we're installing a whole bunch of them just
Yeah.
as we speak.
Yeah.
You know, it's probably the best route that one could take. You know, to take that load, if you will, whether it be off of, you know, if they're still connected to the grid, it kind of removes it. If they've got solar panels, it's going to move it to the side. And you're looking at saving it, you know, up to about 40%, you know, depending upon, you know, certain stats off your bill. So we do have a lot of folks who are looking at that as like one of their secondary
please
options.
get them to stop looking and start installing.
That's what, hopefully the
We're
show
working on
helps
that,
them.
definitely.
Get out there.
You know, we're going to be talking about storage, energy storage after a while. What better method of energy storage than, in the case of a family, bunch of kids coming home around 5 in the afternoon, and the kids have got to get in the shower, mom's got to do the cooking, throw the laundry in.
Right.
There's all this hot water going on. What do you have when you have solar water heating? A nice 80 or even 120 gallon tank full of hot water. What storage?
You sure do.
And what happens to your load, your demand during peak time? Zero.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you got all the hot water you could possibly want.
Definitely.
Yep.
Yeah. And I believe it's time for a break. Zuri?
You're watching ThinkTech Hawaii, offering lifelong learning from passionate hosts and fascinating guests ready to explore and explain Hawaii's place in the 21st century. Great content for Hawaii from ThinkTech.
Here's the deal. I'm Jay Fidel. I'm the host of Hawaii, the State of Clean Energy, which is the Energy Policy Forum's program on Wednesday. That's how we call Wednesday Energy Wednesday. We call it Energy Wednesday every Wednesday. Are you surprised? Okay, and we get guys like Jim Alberts here from Hawaiian Electric who can tell us what's really going on in energy. We want to be informed. It's so important. It's the most important initiative in our state. Clean energy is major, okay? And that's why we cover it on this show. That's the deal. What do you think, Sharon?
I think that's great. That's why we're here every Wednesday from 4 to 5, and we hope you all join us so we can hear people like Jim coming on our show and co-host Ray Starley from Hawaii Energy.
Okay, Jim, you've been here today. You've seen this. You heard what she said. What do you think?
I think it's a tremendous opportunity for people to come together and talk about the issues. Oftentimes, there isn't a good forum to bring these key issues out into the public, and this is a tremendous way to go about it. And the activity of this show is essential to keep talking about energy because, as you said, it's such an essential part of our lives that we need to pay attention to it and we need to think about the future.
Okay, Ray, your turn.
Well, this is a special time in the history of Hawaii where we're making some pretty radical changes in the way we use energy and generate energy. And this show is the one place you can count on coming to every Wednesday and hearing something about the latest issues that are on the table, being discussed, that will affect us all going forward. So come join us, and if you have some ideas you want to share with us about energy, give us a call and let us know. We'll put you up here and let you talk for an hour. So come see us.
Thanks, Ray. Thanks, Sharon. Thanks, Jim. It's great to be, from ThinkTech's point of view, it's great to have this show. We love the show. It's our most important show. So come around and listen to us 4 to 5 on Wednesday. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha, this is Maria Mera, and I'm here to invite you to my bilingual show, Viva Hawaii on ThinkTech Hawaii, every other Monday at 3 p.m. We're here to inform, motivate, and entertain you. Join us. Hola, soy María Mera y estoy aquí para invitaros a mi show bilingüe Viva Hawaii en ThinkTech Hawaii cada 2 lunes a las 3 de la tarde. Estamos aquí para informaros, motivaros y entreteneros. Apuntaros.
Aloha! Hello, my name is Patrick Bratton. I'm host of Global Connections here at ThinkTech Hawaii. We broadcast live every Thursday at 1 p.m. We bring Hawaii to the world and the world to Hawaii, talking about international events and various things of interest to the audience. Please join me. I look forward to talking with you and having you get to meet some of my guests. Aloha.
Welcome back to Code Green ThinkTech Hawaii. Wow, this is magic. I started out with 2 guests, one medium size, one large. Now I got 3 sizes, medium, large, and extra large.
Like Russian dolls, right?
And the extra large is in the form of Cruz Romero, who, as I understand it, is the founder, father, and guiding shepherd of high-powered solar. Is that correct, Mr. Cruz?
Yes, my father, Ron Romero, who's the owner and president of the company, I'm the son of that person. So I'm the general manager, and I help him to run the company and make sure that we're building quality systems.
Sounds good from here. So you were listening to a bit of the program, and one thing I love to talk about is the Hawaiian electric demand curve, where 6 o'clock in the morning, very little electricity is being used. Right about 6, the demand starts going up, reaches a peak, or sort of levels off around 10:30 in the morning, and traditionally it remained pretty flat until 5 in the afternoon, and then had this evening peak. But there is now, thanks to people like you, instead of having that flat curve after about 10:30, it looks like a giant shark came and took a great big bite out of it. And that bite goes really, really deep until about 5 o'clock when we revisit our evening peak. What in the world is causing that shark bite?
Well, the biggest thing is solar hot water. I mean, solar hot water plays a big role in helping to reduce your loads. And then we have your, PV. I mean, that's the biggest shark bites there. And the future is going to be batteries.
Yep. Yeah. That's what we're going to go into. So, since you mentioned those magic words, batteries, this is that shark bite that I was describing is causing a lot of difficulties for the utility. I wouldn't want to be a utility manager right now. And we won't go into all the technical reasons why it's so difficult. But obviously, we've got to do something to increase the load at the bottom of that shark bite, and hopefully also decrease that peak load, because when we get to decrease that peak load, we can turn off another oil-burning power plant.
Amen.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've already turned off the Honolulu plant downtown. There's the Waiau plants, which are right on the Pearl Harbor Basin. And a couple of those are really old, and they are the next to go. So how do we, number one, increase demand during the bottom of that shark bite, making life easier for the utility, and at the same time shave off some of that peak? It starts with a B. B-A-T-T-E-R-Y. B-A-T-T-E-R-Y.
Oh, batteries,
Yeah. So who would like to discuss the role of batteries in this very unique problem that we have here?
I think the biggest person I think would be able to talk about that, who's done a lot of battery installs, is Kurt. I mean, Kurt is from Arizona. He did quite a lot of installs there, and one big reason why we hired him, he brings a lot of knowledge around how to get the right battery system for your home, and make sure that we build it to a code compliant system.
And I should point out that this is just a little microcosm of a whole revolution that's going across the utility industry, both in Hawaii and a lot of the southern states, where you're going to have great big batteries for great big installations, but we can go all the way down to the residential level. So Kurt, you want to talk about residential level batteries?
Sure. So to answer your question, essentially what's going to happen is we're going to be able to, level out those curves, that big shark bite, the big peak in the evening. So by storing your energy either in the form of solar hot water or electricity in your batteries. So, most people are at work during the day, so their loads, like you said, are low. They come home, they start to cook, they start to open the refrigerator, take showers, everything like that after work and school. So by storing that energy during the daytime, you eliminate or reduce that peak quite a bit.
So instead of just that bottom, there's energy, there's electricity going into the battery, so that
That's correct.
energy is being used right when it needs, when the utility needs it to be used.
That's right. So
Correct.
instead of there being that valley during the day, it's going to be a lot more even. So instead of having these big dips and peaks, it'll be a lot smoother. So which makes life for the utility company a lot easier, so they're not ramping up and ramping down their generators several times a day. Or if they are, it's not as extreme.
Okay, so now we've got all this nice energy stored in these batteries, and now the sun goes down and the people come home. Now what?
So instead of pulling from the grid or your PV, because the sun's no longer shining, you're actually just going to pull from the batteries. So, and that works extremely well. So you need a different inverter for that, battery-based inverter, of course, that will take the electricity from the batteries and basically invert it from DC to AC and up the voltage from 48 volts, which is what most battery banks are at, to 120, 240 that you use, in your outlets and all your appliances.
So when we think of batteries, we think of a car battery. So is this just a whole bunch of car batteries stacked up on one another?
I can tell you that it used to be very similar to that, and that was messy. You had off-gassing, sulfuric acid. It wasn't a lot of fun. You've looked at your car battery. There's crust everywhere on it, things like that. You don't want to touch it, or you don't want to inhale those fumes. The newer battery technologies, the lithium ions, there's saltwater batteries, a lithium iron phosphate battery, which are great batteries. You have none of those issues, no off-gassing, doesn't need to be vented. You don't have issues where you're afraid that it's going to catch on fire, things like that. So newer technology is amazing. So we're very excited about that, these new technologies.
So I'm friends with the deputy fire chief, and I know in the early battery days, he was out at Kahuku for that great big wind machine fire. And he said it was so hazardous out there, they didn't want to squirt water on it because it would just add to the pollution. They just had to sit there, let it burn, and make sure that none of the brush around there caught fire. But those days, as far as you're concerned, are over.
Absolutely. Yeah, the newer technologies, there's a couple that we really like. The saltwater, it's a sodium hybrid ion is what I think they technically call it, and that's a great battery. And then the lithium iron phosphate, which is made by, right here, by our friends in Hawaii, Blue Ion. So great batteries.
Beautiful. And so obviously salt water can catch on fire.
Correct. You'd be hard pressed to catch that on fire.
And then another old consideration was considerable heat buildup. And that didn't make the firemen too happy either. So what's going on with these new batteries?
Anybody?
I can definitely answer that.
Yeah, go ahead.
With the new batteries, like Blue Ion's battery, it's a technology that's built in the chemistry that allows it to be safe. There's no off-gassing, no thermal runaway. So when it is being charged up, I mean, we've seen these batteries charge up 180 to 198 amps flowing through, and there's no thermal heat coming from the battery. So you can install it anywhere, pretty much in your home, and you don't have to worry about your home catching on fire or anything like that. So big strides. Things like the cobalt batteries, I know that they're still working on them. Ventilations, things like that. Gel-cooled liquid to cool down the battery, which helps it to not off-gas or heat up. So.
Now, when we talk about off-gassing, we think of things like carpets, brand new carpets, or when you get into a new car, you have this new car smell. Turns out that smell ain't so good for us human beings or for any other mammal. So that's what we think about, at least I think about when I think about off-gassing, but you're using off-gassing in a different way.
Well, with obviously lead-acid batteries, they off-gassed a dangerous chemical, which you didn't want to breathe in. You need to have a ventilated area to make sure that you don't smell any of that or
Yeah,
breathe those
yeah,
things
yeah.
in. So now with the new technology, there's none of that really that you have to worry about.
So are any of you prepared to take this residential battery concept a step further and talk about something that is spelled M-I-C-R-O?
Microgrid?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. In fact, I can't, say where, but we have definitely are in the testing phases. We've managed to take a home office almost off the grid. We're basically testing the batteries from about 5 to 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's running two centralized AC units. It's running electric, although you should have a gas burner, but it's running an electric stove, electric ovens, high efficiency washer dryer, and obviously we have solar hot water, so we definitely took that load off. But definitely high loads, lights, everything like that. We've already changed most of the lighting in that home to LED, so it's very safe, and not as high of a load as the CFLs or the incandescent lighting.
Absolutely. We could do a whole talk on that, but we have to take another break. Code Green, ThinkTech Hawaii, back in 1 minute.
Aloha, my name is Josh Green. I host a show called Healthcare in Hawaii here on ThinkTech. We get together once a week or sometimes twice a month. Depends when we're busy. We get together less often, but we love to see you here to talk about the preeminent healthcare issues in our state. Our programs vary very widely. We talk about economics, we talk about healthcare, we talk about social issues on this program. Thanks for joining us.
You're watching ThinkTech Hawaii, Hawaii's leading digital media platform for civic engagement, raising public awareness on tech, energy, diversification, and globalism. Great content for Hawaii from ThinkTech.
Aloha! How you doing? It's me, Angus McTech, wishing you to welcome and join us to see us on Hibachi Talk on ThinkTech Hawaii. Join my co-hosts, Gordo the Tech Czar and Andrew the Security Guy, every Friday from 1300 to 1345. We look forward to seeing you. We'll talk tech and we'll have some wee bit of fun. And remember, let your wing gang free wherever you be. Aloha!
Good afternoon once more. Howard Wigg, Code Green, ThinkTech Hawaii. 3 very talented young men with me today from High Power Solar, Westley Bagsby, Kurt Blum, and the El Presidente in waiting, Cruz Romero. We were talking high-tech. Let's talk not so high-tech, but very near and dear to my heart, namely solar water heating. Because I'm with the state, I want to shave that peak so Hawaiian Electric can shut down more power plants. And as I was saying earlier, or one of you was saying earlier, what better way of energy storage than to come home around 5 in the afternoon, a lot of kids, a lot of hot water use, and boom, there's either 80 gallons or for a larger family, even 120 gallons of beautifully hot water just sitting there. Talk about storage. But are there any financial considerations there? And
Yes.
Yes.
Definitely.
Okay.
We definitely have created a program for people that want solar water heating, but aren't able to afford it and may have, not such a great credit score, but want to turn their home green. And it's a 10-year program, and it's low monthly payments. Just to give you an example, an 80-gallon tank is about $36 a month. And that will save you, if it's a family of 4, around $60 a month, and it'll help you to turn your home green and shave that peak load off of your home. And after the 10 years, you basically own the system.
Yeah, and a good solar water heating system, which I know you guys install, should, aside from the tank, should last up to 20, even 25 years. I've heard of systems out there, 25 years still operating.
I always tell this story to my friends and family and the people, all my clients. My grandfather had his solar hot water done about 30 years ago by my dad. And he had it so long that one day the glass started to crack, and a piece of seed got stuck in there, and it started to grow a little tree. And it's kind of funny. Although the glass was kind of cracked and it was growing a tree, it was still producing hot water. And it's amazing. This was about 30 years ago. We recently replaced his system because of the cracked glass. But I mean, it will last a long time if you definitely maintain it and service it right.
And speaking of maintenance and servicing, so if you do need a tune-up on your hot water heater, again, you can go through us, give us a phone call, go to Hawaii Energy again, get more information about the tune-up. It really helps.
It's a $150 rebate right now, and if your tank is anywhere from 2 to 5 years old, I definitely recommend it. If it's longer than that, I definitely recommend it.
I should have taken your advice. I have solar on my house. And I was down by the hot water tank just a few weeks ago. I said, what's that stuff dripping out of that room? And I opened up the door, and there's my poor old water heating rusting on top, rusting on the bottom, drip, 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 drip. Ooh.
So I don't know how old your system is, Howard.
It was, at that point, the tank was maybe 15 years old.
So Hawaiian Energy is actually giving you $750 for that old solar hot water tank right now if you want to replace it. Sometimes it's actually less expensive if you just get a whole new system, and that will last you another 20, 25 years.
Ooh, you tell me in retrospect here. But so there's no mystery to how you're able to finance this, because there is the rebate, as you point out, the federal credit and the state credit, and then you finance the rest of it. So people, as you said, with poor credit ratings can do this, and they're going to shave a heck, especially if they have a large family with a lot of hot water use. They're going to shave the heck out of their monthly payments. And be able to feed their kids better or put shoes on their feet or whatever.
And Howard, we actually have a great financing program for people with average credit scores, anywhere from a 630 credit score. But it's a 0 down, 0 payment program. And that allows them to get their tax credits within the 2-year period. And they can even pay off their system. And there's no monthly payments that are required for the 2 years. It's a really great program for them.
And don't forget, you're shaving that peak too.
That's right.
That's my passion.
Keeping HECO happy.
So, you know what? I heard somewhere that there's a new type of PV panel called bifacial. Have you guys ever heard of that?
Absolutely, yes. So, and I, if you want, I can show you. I've got a picture of one, and this is just one of the companies. I don't know if you want to see this. This is made by Sunpreme, but there's other companies that do it. And what it is here, if you want to look at that, it's instead of having the glass on the front and then a back sheet, like an opaque back sheet on the back, it's got 2 sheets of glass. So what happens is you'll actually get some gain off of the back side as well. So that can work really well in situations like carports, or if we were talking about the reflective roof to keep your house cool. So what happens is you'll have spaces in between not only the cells on the panel, but between the panels themselves. So some light will get through and reflect back up. So you'll get actually up to a 20% more production out of that panel. So it's pretty exciting technology. Like a lot of things in the PV industry, technology is moving right along, and they're just coming out with really amazing products that are just really going to change the way we produce power for many, many years to come.
I always like to talk about Moore's Law. Can anybody define Moore's Law?
That's the computer, right? I don't remember. You probably know more about Moore's Law than I
guess
do.
I am older than you. No. But I think understanding the gist of it, obviously, as technology improves, things become more efficient, they become smaller, and then hence more usable, more affordable for all of us, and that's the intent.
If it was Professor Moore, he helped found Intel, who described that law back in 1971, and one of his assistants now with Intel fact, it was the COO, said if a 1971 Volkswagen Beetle had improved at the rate that the computer has, it would be capable of going 200,000 miles an hour, get 2 million miles to the gallon, and cost 4 cents.
Right.
So this type of technology isn't improving at quite that rapid a rate,
Right.
but it is every time we turn around, there's something new. I didn't know about this, and I'm in the field.
Right.
Yeah.
Howard,
So-
you know what I want to see?
Sure.
Is a Volkswagen electric car. That's what I want to see.
And it's probably waiting.
It's probably waiting, yeah.
Yeah, probably out there waiting.
Yeah, and we could do a whole discussion about electric vehicle batteries being a possible power source for the utility, but that's a different.
That's right.
And we're just wrapping up now. What else do we need to cover? NEM. Yeah. Somebody, without using any cuss words, describe NEM to us and maybe your projections for the future. NEM, for the audience, is net energy metering. Oh, I'll describe it a little bit. It used to be that a PV owner, for every kWh, kilowatt hour, that went back into the grid, they would receive full value.
Right.
Just a year or so ago, that was like 35, 36 cents a kWh.
Right.
And the utility figured out that this is not a viable economic option for them, so they essentially just about cut it in half, so that, as I understand it, the PV owner gets about 15 cents a kWh. Is that a good summary of NEM?
Pretty much.
Yes. Yes. The NEM program was here and it went, and now we have what they call the DER program, which is the Distributed Energy Resource Program. And I know everybody misses the NEM, and a lot of customers have asked me, when is it coming back? And what we have to tell people is that the new DER program is here to stay, and although it's half of what we used to get from HECO, it's still a better deal than nothing at all.
And well, let's put state tax credit on top of that, federal tax credit on top of that, and the fact that we still are paying residentially. I just did my own bill, WH.
Right.
That can add up to a big bill.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, so,
and
I would think that even without them, the payback time would be pretty gosh darn short. Yeah.
Well, right now, actually, the median has come down to about a 8 to 10 year return, which has levelized to the same payback period for the mainland, and which it's still a big incentive for people to get solar and go green, and take care of those loads. What we have been educating people on is making sure that they're using more of their energy throughout the day instead of the nighttime, and that's when they'll benefit more from having PV.
And pretty soon we'll be getting into time of use pricing.
That's correct.
Yes.
And with your battery storage, you can accommodate or behavior change also. Like, don't turn your clothes washer or your dishwasher on till 9:30 at night or whatever it is.
Right.
Yeah. So we've got just a couple minutes more.
Sure.
Some parting words of wisdom.
For me, I think that people have to really educate themselves and go out there and find a contractor that's going to educate them about the whole process. More than just buying off of what rate you're getting, know what type of panel you're getting, know what type of product you're getting. Educate yourself to know. It's like this, Howard. Would you go out there and buy a car without knowing what kind of information about the car, what kind of specs that it has? Would you do that at any
No,
point?
I would read consumer reports, talk to my neighbors and so forth. Yeah.
Well, solar doesn't have really consumer reports, but there are different quality types of panels, different types of equipment, and you want to make sure that you're getting the best for your buck. And we at High Power Solar give you that a variety of panels, that so you can go out and know that you're going to get a good system for you, or a system that is meant for you, for what you need it to do.
Absolutely. Great word of wisdom. And on that great word of wisdom, we need to close up. We're just barely getting warmed up.
I know.
So, Kurt Blum, Cruz Romero, Wesley Bagsby, High Power Solar.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
very much.
It's been a pleasure.
And all the best to you in the future.
Thank you.
You too.
Appreciate
You
it.
as well.
You're watching ThinkTech Hawaii, Hawaii's leading digital media platform for civic engagement, raising public awareness on tech, energy diversification, and globalism. Great content for Hawaii from ThinkTech.